So we're back again. DFOS episode 90. Oh shit, here we go. 95. I know it's episode 95. I know for a fact. I remember episode 94, uploading it. It's all something I did. I remember it. I recall it. I have a photographic memory now, starting from this moment forward. It's something that you can just announce and make true.
Yeah. Turns out we have some shit we forgot to do 2 weeks ago.
Yes. So on this, Dylan's here, of course. It's the Demons from Outer Space. So Dylan's here. We promised that we would do the Godzilla Gang Christmas special, a Kaiju Christmas special as it was originally titled, on the Christmas special for 2016 for the Demons from Outer Space. It is now 2017, January 5th, for those of you looking for details, when we inevitably turn up murdered, and you have to, pin down when exactly it happens. Dylan nodded like, well, yeah, of course. We gotta have an alibi.
Yeah.
For when we're murdered, we have to have an alibi. So we forgot it, as somebody pointed out in the comments, and fucking Ian, Sid Part 2, always fucking looking to toss some shade my way. No, he's very good at what he does, which is usually tossing shade my way. Was like, oh, he'll forget to do this, and that he'll forget it on the next Christmas special. Well, we're doing it now, Ian. 2 weeks late, maybe, but we're doing it now. So, have it that.
You know what? We were like, fuck Christmas. We don't need Christmas to come in order to talk about a Christmas special.
No,
Renegade
this is
for Life.
barely about Christmas anyway.
Matter of fact, we're going to talk about 2 Christmas specials tonight. So
we are. Damn straight. Neither of them really have that much to do with Christmas.
No. See, this episode is probably what we would have done as a Christmas special.
If we hadn't forgotten, sure.
If we hadn't forgotten about it and then come up with the whole South Park / Real Ghostbusters idea,
Shit,
which I thought came out wonderful, and I think we're going to do more episodes like that in the future.
If anything, you should be fucking happy that you get 2 good Christmas episodes. Well, presumably this one will be good. We haven't made it yet, but we'll see.
With an X-Men review in between, like, how much better could it have possibly turned out?
It's a wonderful sandwich. You have 2 wonderful whole wheat rolls around a luscious piece of meat. My dick. No. Depending. It's a matter of opinion. But I'm also eating Christmas candy left over from Christmas and New Year's. So it's a Christmas, I don't know. It's a post-Christmas celebration of what a wonderful Christmas 2016 was in 2017. Hoping that things are good in the new year. So we're going to start out in that vein by doing the Kaiju Christmas special. So the last time we did a Godzilla Gang commentary, we watched them before we did it, but this is 4 minutes. So we probably should have watched it. It wouldn't have been that hard. Fuck it, though. We're just going to watch it and talk about it. So, a little bit of preamble, though. Just a quick thing, because it's short. So I want to talk about what we're seeing more than the stuff that went into it, because it's not that complicated. Well, maybe it is complicated. Basically, I got a new camera that I wanted to film the Godzilla Gang with specifically. It was a better camera than my webcam on my fucking laptop, as I explained in the last commentary. And it had obviously better quality. I could get better angles, as you'll see in this and the future episodes that we do commentaries on. But one bitch of it was that I had no way to record audio, which I'm sorry. I couldn't take the audio off of the camera and put it on the computer, and I couldn't record audio from my computer for some reason. I don't remember why. That's one element of the story I don't remember. For some reason, I could not record new audio to put into the Christmas special. So everybody was mute, and I decided to kind of comment on that in this. And I was also on a bit of a Power Rangers kick in the time, I remember, as will be reflected in this. And I decided. So this is a test of the new camera, a Christmas special, and a comment on a problem I had with the new camera with the Godzilla Gang. Or it's kind of barely the Godzilla Gang, because it's only one character. It kind of separates itself from Godzilla Gang canon because of what happens in it and what we see, but who knows?
It makes no sense in universe.
No.
Like at all.
Well, I mean, listen, the Godzilla Gang is a loosely interconnected series of pictures of Godzilla action figures doing weird shit and having fucked up conversations over the top.
It's not the most well-constructed universe anyway. But there's usually an internal logic, especially after this point, that just isn't present here.
Well, I mean, I don't remember. Do I address what happens in it later, like what G turns into?
No, you addressed the. You made a plot point out of the what you call it?
The voice thing.
Yeah, when somebody loses their voice, shit. What's that word?
Going mute.
No, there's a fucking word for it. Shit. Anyway, you made a plot point out of that later on. So this is kind of loosely in canon, but then the thing with Mechagodzilla just makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. I think that's enough preamble.
It's like watching a DBZ movie. It's like vaguely things that are from the series at the time, but like just the plot just doesn't fit.
But it also kind of sets up the future status quo, like some of those DBZ movies did, with the Super Saiyans and shit. So let's get into it. So I think like last time I'll just put the episodes over the top, so you don't have to worry about going on the internet and finding your own version.
Yeah, luckily,
unless you want to do that. By all power to you.
We don't have to worry about copyright in these instances because
not with the pictures anyway.
Yeah, because Bill made this shit.
And the audio is too low for anybody to care.
Right, so we're good.
Absolutely.
Shit's been on YouTube for a long time. Hasn't been taken down. No. Clearly, they're not coming after us. So.
No, I think we're good. I'm gonna stop eating candy in a second. I swear. I've been kind of scarfing it down so I can talk over the video. Thanks for letting that dead air of me just chewing exist. You're a good co-host. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to let that sink in with the audience that that's what you're doing. I mean,
I'm so ashamed. Nah.
I mean, no judgments. I'm watching the Transformers movie on mute this whole time, so it's good.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm just I'm not listening to the movie because I'm doing this. I'm just
So you're gonna watch the Kaiju Christmas special, and the Transformers movie, and talk to me all at the same time.
Well, for the 4 minutes that we're watching the Kaiju Christmas special, I'll be watching it. I just have the Transformers movie on in the background because I don't necessarily have to hear it because I've seen this movie a million times. I'm just taking in the beautiful animation like I've never seen it before on this wonderful Blu-ray. So
you kids, you can't just do one thing at a time anymore. You have to multitask. Ugh, make me sick. All right, so let's watch a Kaiju Christmas special. Dylan, do you have it ready to go?
Well, let me pause Transformers the movie.
Oh yeah, right. My bad. Let me finish this Kit Kat in the meantime. It'll probably take that long anyway, so.
I am in the midst of the Unicron transformation sequence. It's quite a show.
Yeah, I remember it being alright. This is a good Kit Kat, in case you were wondering. I don't know if the chewing that you can hear on the audio imparts that, but it is. Or maybe I'll cut it out. I don't know. Future Bill probably won't, though. He's probably tired. He's got work all day tomorrow. He gets off a little early, though, so that's lucky for him.
Gonna be a great episode. Maximum effort.
Always maximum effort. Are you fucking ready to go? I finished my Kit Kat.
I've been ready for several seconds.
Right,
it does not take long at all to pause a movie. So.
Well, it didn't take long to eat my Kit Kat either, in case you were wondering. And if you weren't...
It took longer.
And if you weren't, I still want you to know. I don't mean for you to like shut you up when I yell at you. I mean to like incite you more. Like that's what I want. I want to get more of a reaction. I want to piss you off, basically. I'm not trying to be like shut up and let my opinion reign supreme. I'm like, no, I want to piss you off. I want you to defend yourself.
It's rare though that I go into that kind of a rage anymore.
No, you don't really care about anything. Like I'm usually just like Dylan. Wouldn't it be great if we all just like turned into dead people? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, that's not what I meant, but all right. I didn't even mean to start out that way, but
anyway. When I was younger I might have grown incensed, but now I just sort of have like a quiet fury, like a boiling heat just in my gut.
You just have a constant stream of just evaporating water coming out, just representing your
basically
rage.
That kid from Red Dawn. When the pilot's like, "Oh, that hate's gonna burn you up inside," and the kid's like, "It keeps me warm."
Was that kid Patrick Swayze?
No, it's this other kid that like totally goes crazy. And
I don't remember any of the kids in that movie. especially the
And I
ones
think
that
he-
went crazy.
And I think he gets killed by a helicopter at the end, or something like that.
I don't know, man.
Near
There were a
the-
lot of guns in that movie. I'm sure a lot of people died.
Not right at the end, but near the end. It's a good fucking movie. I should watch that when we're done with this.
I thought you were watching the Transformers movie.
Well, that's gonna be over.
All right. Well, with that said, why don't we watch a Kaiju Christmas special? Ready, D?
I've been ready, man.
3,
I'm born ready.
2, 1, play. Immediately starting off the classic. What is the orchestra called? The fucking
The Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
This, by the way, is my favorite Christmas.
Oh, if
piece.
you expected a war, you will always get a treaty. Some smart person who thinks he's not really smart. I forget why I wrote that. I think the idea is you don't always get what you're expecting. And I think that this is supposed to be like you didn't expect this, motherfuckers, did you? This sucks. Oh, good idea for the white subtitles over a white background. Play. Although over this, we both have it muted, presumably. There's Godzilla roar, so it's not like it's like a silent movie or anything. No, there's sound effects, and there's music. There's definitely a lot of music.
Oh no, said Godzilla. My YouTube career is over.
Yeah. Oh no, I saw YouTube. I didn't see YouTube. See, I think there's a cropping issue when this was exported that changes between YouTube and different computers for shit and goes badly. So the idea is that this all went poorly for him and he's fucked over. He can't do the show anymore because he can't talk because of the camera he bought and there's some bet he lost. It's complicated. Gigan shows up to fuck with him.
Because he's a bitch.
Yeah. This definitely looks better than the show, though. The show prior to this. He throws a quarter at him. I don't remember why. Presumably because that's all I could pull off.
Give a background with, like, buildings and shit, so that's a step up.
Well, so that was actually supposed to be for something else. I was going to film, like a legit kind of, fight thing with these figures, and I never did it. Look, Zazubaar Film Productions had a building. That's great. I'll never have a building. Sorry. For anybody who wanted me to have a building. Oh, and G morphs with no explanation. And I love how everything's out of focus. Like, this is because I didn't know how to do manual focus back then.
Fuzzy as shit.
Daikaiju, which means giant monster in Japanese. Or big beast. I don't know. It means a bunch of different shit. So G morphs into Mechagodzilla using the Power Ranger shit. And again, this is because I was into Power Rangers at the time.
Gotta love those fantastic transformation effects used by the younger Bill Wurster.
Yeah. Well, this was back in the day when I was using Windows Movie Maker, so this is all I had. But yeah, this isn't really about Christmas. This is mostly about a Power Rangers homage with Godzilla figures and testing out this camera. And again, I think that we can all agree that the animation is a million times better than what we were seeing last time. It's still very choppy. It's still a slideshow with a plot. Like, it's not quality stop motion, but I think it's a million times better. And the biggest,
it's definitely it's definitely, it may not make any sense whatsoever, but it's definitely a step up from what we had in season 1 and kind of a nice little prelude to the quality of shit that we have in the new guy episodes, which are probably the best shit you ever did for this series, honestly.
I like that flip. Wow, that was good. I think that's good. See, this is pretty. I could do the fights better than I could the dialogue, like, realistically. Like, because I actually put effort into that, because I was like, if I'm going to do this, I have to make it look okay at the best. So I really tried with that. The laser effects were certainly subpar. Nowadays, I would get somebody to do that. If I ever brought back the Godzilla gang. Not like I've been desperately writing a million different scripts trying to figure out how to do that of late. Definitely haven't been doing that. All the changes in lighting are, again, because I didn't know how to do manual controls on the camera. I just basically shot whatever I could because I wanted to get it done. I think some of the effects are okay. It's just that I used Paint to do them, and I had Windows Movie Maker, so that was my effects budget. But yeah, this is pretty much a fight test with a rough story.
Yeah. With some Christmassy shit at the beginning of it.
Yeah. And also there's like a weird Christmas message at the end. If anything, I guess you could argue it's a parody. It's a satire on the Christmas special where it's like, well, and I took pictures of all the figures in front of my Christmas tree because I thought that was Christmassy. So it's kind of like a weird Christmas card, I guess. Maybe in universe we should explain it as like, because you're kind of my partner in crime with this now. Now the next one is starting. Maybe we should explain it as they filmed this themselves and they made this, and they like coerced Gigan into doing it somehow, and we can make that a plot point later.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be the way to do it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, a Kaiju Christmas special. So, Dylan, what are your thoughts on it, looking back on it now?
I think it's a piece of shit. No.
Well, I mean, you can say it in so many words, I suppose, but I mean, I'm looking for maybe a little more kind of constructive, criticism.
Well,
maybe.
Narratively, it was a piece of shit, but animation-wise, it was definitely a step up.
But do you kind of see like the rough kind of ideas that are kind of going on there, that are kind of drawing the fights together?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's like at least 50% less cringy than season 1 was.
Great. It's good to know that I achieved that level. So when did I put this out? To 2010. So this is 7 years old now. Almost. Well, that's more like 6. It's almost exactly 6 years old. So if I've matured at all, it's probably not very evident. It's probably not as much as I should have. But
really amazing. I watched that and thought, wow, this is a person I should reach out to.
Yeah, it really is. You were a really dumb fuck as well back in the day, I guess. Who'd have thunk it? We were both dumb. We were both the same level of dumb back then.
I think it was more so the stuff after this that sort of sold me on that idea. The new guy stuff I think holds up pretty well. Actually, we'll get to talk about that.
This was a test because I couldn't make any real Godzilla gang stuff with that camera.
Next time we do one of these Godzilla gang materials, we'll get to talk about that. And I think that's definitely the best of what was done.
Yeah.
Back then, so.
Well, we'll talk about that. Maybe towards the end. Maybe towards like the end of because we're gonna take a brief hiatus, probably during like March. I'm filming my senior project that month, and it's gonna be probably a nightmarish, hellish experience. So I'm gonna need some time to do that. So maybe we'll take a couple weeks off so I can do that. So maybe right before that we'll do the new guy. We can do the whole trilogy in one video, and that'll definitely cover an entire episode because that would break down to like 40-45 minutes, and we can fill out the rest of it with just bullshit, as we've been doing with this episode.
Then we gotta figure out after that because sorry, I got pie. Anyway,
you got hot
pie.
Oh, great.
Wonderful pie. Anyway,
I thought you got handed. It looked like you got handed like an egg, like a giant egg, and I was like, "What are you gonna do with that? You gonna eat it, or are you gonna roost on it? You gonna brood over it?"
Those are my dinosaur cloning experiments. Okay. Anyway,
that you have to brood over because they have your DNA in them, so you have to like treat them like a mother.
Gonna sit them under an emu. Anyway,
no, you're the emu in this instance. Actually, that's what I'm saying.
The fuck was I talking about before that? Oh yeah, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do for the shit after the new guy, because it's just basically one little sketch thing, and then one episode of the Villain Gang, and then a bunch of unproduced scripts. So that'll be.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do the 2 remaining videos in one go, and then we can talk about the scripts in one video. Maybe we'll do audio renderings of them, and then eventually, one day, we'll bring the Godzilla gang back. Because, again, I definitely haven't been scrambling to write 15 million scripts, trying to bring them back in some capacity in a way that satisfies me, and I think will be decent. So we'll see what happens. For now, though, speaking of scrambling to make something that's successful and decent, well, we move on to our next Christmas special that we're late on covering.
You should just transform the Godzilla gang into an animated series.
But it already kind of is. It's just really shittily animated.
You remember that fucking picture I drew of all the characters like in cartoon form?
Yeah, if you could realistically draw 1 million more of those with them doing different poses, sure, we'd be in business. Do you want to do that?
No, fuck no.
Yes, I didn't think so. So we kind of have we're sort of at a crossroads here.
It's either exists this thing in animation where you have one guy, right, who does character models, that could be me, and then we get some other way more talented fuck to actually animate the damn thing.
If you're out there and you'll work for free, contact us. If you won't work for free, but you'll work for I don't know, what can we offer him? encouragement. Maybe we can offer him just positivity and a positive energy in his life. We can just text him and be like, I think you're a really good guy. I think you got a good head on your shoulders.
I wish we could realistically do it.
Your mother was wrong.
I wish we could actually realistically do it that way, because if we could do it as an animated series, you can put pretty much any character you want in there without having to get a vinyl.
But you know what though? I think the toys have a certain charm, and I mean, listen, it's so rudimentary. You could basically mold it in whatever form you'd like. I've considered just putting the figures on green screens and doing everything in the computer. The thing is, I don't have the talent to do that, so I mostly just keep it in the practical realm where I can kind of futz my way through it. But in the computer realm, I'm much more like, what? How do I make these things move?
What is this?
Yeah. I'm looking at the mouse like, what is this, man? Like, why won't it move? You said it was a mouse. Like, it's not... No, it's... Oh. So yeah, we're going to move on to our next Christmas special. To a show that we covered... we used to cover a lot on the Demons from Outer Space, but it took a hiatus, and we also took hiatuses when it was kind of back, and we're caught up, though. I believe we've talked about everything up to the current last thing of Doctor Who, which is the show that we're going to be talking about. That came out prior to what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, it's 2016 was kind of rough for Doctor Who fans because there was none.
And a lot of people didn't like the last season.
Yeah, 2015's Doctor Who shit was kind of hit and miss for everybody. And
including
then
us. We did a 3-hour review where we were like, man, the last part of this, half of it's great, half of it's fucking trash.
Yeah. So that kind of ended on a subpar note. Thankfully, last year's Christmas special was fantastic, so that left me with at least a good taste in my mouth.
Well, I think that they know that they need to take a break, because that last season was kind of all over the place, and it felt like they weren't really sure what they were going to do. They changed up the format a bit by making them all 2-parters, except for a couple, and then making the finale a 3-parter.
Yeah.
Well, doing standalone episodes with very little overarching story. But then at the end, they tried to scramble together an overarching story that didn't make any fucking sense.
No.
But we already talked about that. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 2016 Doctor Who Christmas special, which is the only Doctor Who we got in 2016, which sort of dovetails us into Season 10, which will be coming out this year in 2017.
I believe I read that the first episode is supposed to premiere in April, so...
Yeah, I mean, it looks... Apparently, it's all filmed. I mean, I saw the trailer, and it looks like everything's done, so I guess it's ready to go.
The trailer looks pretty good. I think we're going to be back to, standard Doctor Who adventure shit.
We'll talk about it. So here's the first thing I want to ask you, though, since Doctor Who's been gone for a while. Did you miss it?
Yeah, I'd like having new Doctor Who shit every now and then, It's a franchise that I enjoy, regardless of the last season sort of being a little disappointing. But, that's happened before.
You said
Season 2 wasn't the greatest thing, you know?
It had its bright spots, though. There's some good shit in Season 2. Like the girl in the fireplace is Season 2. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
But...
there were some episodes in Season 9 that I enjoyed, so I mean...
Yeah, there's a lot of good shit in Season 9. Like, I think the first 2-parters are, really good. But I just think that it drags, and ultimately Doctor Who just became very samey for me. But you said that you like it every now and then. So were you on board with the fact that it took a break? And they all kind of took some time off to let Doctor Who kind of simmer in the public consciousness for a while, and then they come back strong. Do you think that was a good idea, and were you on board with that?
I think I would have liked it to be a little shorter of a break than it was. I mean, a whole year with no new Who stuff is kind of a long time, I think. Maybe it would have been better if they had done sort of what they did for David Tennant's last year, just instead of worrying about doing a whole season, just doing specials here and there. They could have done something like that maybe, and just kept it in the public consciousness while they sort of retool whatever they need to retool. Because we kind of, in this Christmas special, we kind of get this idea that the Doctor's been sort of going around alone and sad since River Song died.
He's sad. He's sad again, which he usually is during most Christmas specials. He's usually sad and pissy for some reason.
But by the end of this episode, it's well, now I'm back to saving the world. And I'm like, well, how much better would it have been if this year we could have gotten a few more specials of just him being alone and sad before he has this whole "now I'm back to saving people" thing.
Yeah, but no, he was with River Song, and then he left her, and then it struck me as now he's back to Earth, and he's living with the consequences of that was it. That was the end of his time with River.
But
So
at the end of
that's
the
how it struck me. It struck that we're right back in the midst of that. So that was 24 years, right?
Yeah, at the end of the episode, they state that he's been gone for like 24 years, right?
So it's been basically a year. No, it's been exactly a year since we last saw him with the Husbands of River song. So in that year, for our time, it's been 24 years for him, and that's kind of a big moment at one point, and I liked that in this Christmas special.
Yeah, at the end.
So I was on board with the hiatus. I'll just say.
At the end, when they did that thing where they were like, "Oh, you're sad because you lost somebody. What was her name?" I was so worried that they were gonna bring up Clara again. I was like, "Fuck!" But then
she's
they
not
were like,
mentioned in this at all. How about that?
and then they were like, "No, he said about River Song." I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Thank God that it was her, and not Clara."
Because the last Christmas special wasn't even really about the Doctor being all sad and shit about Clara. A little bit, but not really too much. And this one, she's not mentioned at all. I think that everybody was kind of sick of her, and I felt that way certainly. And I very much so made a point of that in the last couple podcasts that we talked about it.
Yeah, it's weird. She wasn't even around as long as Amy had been. Yet I got so much more sick of her than I think I ever have any other companion. I think it's just narratively the way they used her.
She was awkwardly put in at the end of Matt Smith and the beginning of Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
Capaldi. I'm sorry. Peter Capaldi.
Well, it just became ridiculous because Moffat just couldn't let her die.
Well, Moffat just fucking, like, he fucking fetishizes all of his goddamn characters to the point where their deaths have to be like this life-changing moment in everybody's lives. And it gets a little samey after a while and you get sick of it. Especially when they don't fucking actually die. And it happens over and over and over again. And Clara definitely got to that point.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's immune to that at this point. Like, it's
always like a thing.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It's always like a thing where like they didn't technically die, but they're like functionally dead. Like what happened with Amy and Rory at the end.
Yeah, it's like they're still out there, but we can't interact with them, which is pretty much what Clara's doing because she's traveling a million years into the future, and she's ostensibly. Oh, but you know what though, D? She's erased the Doctor's memory of her pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
That's true. Yeah.
Really remember I forgot about that because that was so weird because they kind of did it and they also didn't because they were like, well, we sort of because like she shows up at the diner and everything and she basically is like, I'm the girl that you're missing even though you can't remember her, and he kind of wanders off and figures that and then he just goes back to his normal routine. So it strikes me as like he knows that was her, so he's gonna miss her, but he doesn't really remember the details of it. So that's kind of fucked up. So the last, like, 2 seasons of Doctor Who, he doesn't really remember. They almost, like, retconned it from his memory.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how much of the shit at the end of Matt Smith he remembers.
No, it strikes me almost like, oh, well, sure, yeah. But even, like, just the beginning of Capaldi stuff. Because I think that Doctor Who, and I don't think a lot of people have really talked about this, I feel like Doctor Who's popularity peaked at the end of Matt Smith stuff at the 50th anniversary, and then it stayed a while during the beginning of Capaldi's run, and then at the end of it, we're not at the end of it, we're still in it, but as it went on, people were kind of like, Doctor Who's getting kind of samey, and then also a lot of, and we joked about this a lot at the beginning of Capaldi's run, oh, the teenage girls aren't going to be attracted to the Doctor anymore, so they're going to drop off of it. I don't know if that's really the case with anybody who actually likes Doctor Who, like on any kind of genuine level, but it seems to maybe be the case, because I think Doctor Who is less popular than it was 3 years ago now.
To me, I think when I remember it being at its highest, and maybe this is just because I was in high school at the time, I was interacting with more folks on a daily basis, so I sort of saw more of the fandom happening. Like, 2010-ish, like around the time that, like, Season 6 was starting, like the silents were a thing and people still didn't know what they were. I remember seeing people cosplaying at school as like fucking Amy with the fucking Tic Tac marks on their arms and shit. Like it was
that's fucking weird. I never saw anything like that.
It was intense, man. So
but yeah, I was in high school when I got into Doctor Who, and I remember seeing stuff like that and talking to people about it. It was a big thing. But it was big in America from like Matt Smith, from David Tennant's point to now. And I feel like it's kind of dipped and risen in popularity since then. You know, what you said, Season 6 was a big deal. Season 7 was a big deal because that was the 50th anniversary, and then you had that special. Then Matt Smith was leaving, so the Doctor was regenerating. So then Capaldi was starting, and he was older, and it was all different and everything. And then I think because of sort of some of the sameness that Moffat ran into in Seasons 8 and 9, people kind of dropped off of it, and I feel like Doctor Who's popularity has kind of stagnated since then. So, and even for me, like, I haven't really been into this show lately. I was perfectly fine with it taking a hiatus. I didn't really care when it came back. I would watch it, because I'm a fan, inevitably when it came back, but I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait. Like, I didn't watch it when it premiered or anything, and I kind of had to struggle to find it so I could watch it for this. So I didn't really kind of care, to be honest, because I was so kind of lackluster on season 9, despite liking that last Christmas special. But here we are into the Return of Doctor Mysterio. I don't even think we said the title yet. And Doctor Who's back. So this one's different, though, because it's not just your typical Christmas special where, it's set at Christmas and there's weird aliens. This one's like, no, and there's some gimmick.
Thing pretty much.
Well, I guess there's
Christmas
kind of a gimmick.
Only plays a role. The Christmas thing pretty much only plays a role at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, it's never mentioned after that. Interestingly, it's pretty much just an episode of Doctor Who after that.
Yeah.
And you know what else? This wasn't too super long, and I liked that. Some of the Christmas specials are over an hour. This one wasn't. It was 58 minutes.
Mm-hmm. The Christmas specials have always been kind of hit and miss, but I think this is on the better end of the spectrum. It's not one of your the fucking Doctor, the Witch in the Wardrobe, or whatever the fuck that one was called. That was
it's way better. It's definitely better than that. But I would say that this is definitely on the better spectrum. But I would say it's kind of, it was good. It didn't totally wow me. It got me back on board with Doctor Who, and it got me excited for the current status quo, which I guess is all you can ask for, and it told a good self-contained story. But again, it didn't wow me. I just kind of enjoyed it and was fine with it, and I'll probably never watch it again. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think that it did what it set out to do rather well. Despite some hiccups in the execution of its ideas, and we can talk about and debate maybe some of the merit and maybe not so much merit of what it attempted to do with its premise. But very prominently outside of the Christmas special element, this was also established as like, we're gonna do a superhero in the Doctor Who universe, and they made a big deal out of that. They showed that they were gonna have a guy in a costume and flying around punching people and shit, or not, maybe not punching people. I don't think he punches anybody in this. Oh, he kind of does at one point. But they've never really done that. Like, the Doctor's always been kind of classified as a superhero himself, even though he's not really a superhero. But he's always been kind of considered in those ranks, science fiction hero, science fiction, like, protagonist and everything, with certain abilities. He's an alien and shit. He's got certain supernatural powers. He can change his face when he dies and everything.
He has fought Death's Head, so he's kind of a superhero.
He was in the Marvel Universe at one point, sure. Or at least he fought an element of it. But they finally decided, we're just going to literally have a superhero and show you it. So that way we can finally explore this comparison between the Doctor and a superhero. So I guess the question is, how well do you think it did playing with the conventions of the superhero genre, both in the references and in its own original superhero that it put forward to have in the Doctor Who universe?
I enjoyed that element of it. We've never seen something like that in Doctor Who before. Doctor Who, the thing that makes the show so great is that it's a premise under which you can pretty much do anything. So they were like, let's do a superhero story, and they totally made it work, I thought. So I enjoyed it for that. I thought that the superhero that they put forward in the story is interesting. Because you watched this online, but I actually watched it through my DVR, so I got all the, because whenever they air Doctor Who on TV, there's always, extra bonus content, during the commercial breaks and shit.
Right.
There was an interview with, what's his name? Fucking Noku.
Justin Chadwick, who plays the Ghost.
Yeah, the superhero in this Christmas special, for anybody out there who's not aware, is that guy who played Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution.
Maybe people might know him better as Tom Cruise's son in War of the Worlds.
But before you run away screaming, he's not terrible in this. Anyway,
I don't think he's great though. I think he's maybe fine. I don't think the American cast in this is great overall though. I thought they all kind of reminded me a bit of the American cast in Shin Godzilla, or the English speaking actors in Shin Godzilla, Where it's like whenever we're with the Japanese-speaking people, I'm like, oh, I'm into this. They all seem really natural and believable. But all the English-speaking people sound like they're fucking reading it off a cue card. And that's kind of how I felt in this kind of by and large. Even the girl, who I kind of liked, Lucy Lamford, whatever her name was. Lucy Lombard, which is a fucking multi-layered Superman reference. Fucking, you can pick that apart if you want. It seriously is. Like, it's a reference to, like, 3 different characters.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot of superhero parallels in this, which is why they felt the need to bring it to America, because that's the hotbed of that genre. Set in New York, present day, so it's like a modern day superhero origin story, and just happens to take place in the Doctor Who universe, and the way the superhero got his powers is because of the Doctor.
But anyway, during one of the commercial breaks, there was like an interview going on with him, and he was basically describing what he wanted to accomplish with like his portrayal of the character. Basically, he wanted to try and blend like Christopher Reeve Superman with like Michael Keaton Batman, which sounds insane, but I can kind of see it.
Oh, I can totally see that. Because the superhero voice is really fucking weird, but it totally makes sense. Because he's just a weird, like, just kind of a lonely, kind of isolated kid. Lonely partially because of what this fucking gemstone did to him. I loved that scene where the Doctor went back to him as a teenager, and he was just like, I can't even look at people because I don't want to see what's under their clothes. Because what basically happens is, and I thought that this was a good move, the gem that he swallows by accident that the Doctor gives him because he's doing some weird alien shit, and I don't think we ever really figure out what exactly the Doctor was up to. He was setting a trap for something that backfired on him.
He said that there was some kind of like time distortion that was like his fault, and they're in New York, so I'm like, is he referring to the angel thing from a couple seasons ago?
Oh, like, maybe. That's possible. Because I don't think we've been back to New York since then. It's been a while.
Like, that's a weird time to bring that back up, but maybe that's what they were referencing. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those. But maybe it's just one of those things that the Doctor does off camera.
He fucks around a lot. He does indeed.
Like, apparently the comic relief from the last Christmas special is back, and is, according to Wikipedia, going to be in this season.
So good. Well, I want to talk about him as his own separate thing. I think he deserves it because he's so good.
That's the thing that happened off camera. The Doctor was like, hey, I liked that guy. I'm going to go get him back.
But what I was saying was, the gem, the ability is, it draws power from a nearby star to do whatever you want, is the idea. So
it's like it gives you what you want.
It's very basically Doctor Who, like, it uses scientific energy to make psychic magical shit happen. It's kind of like Ghostbusters.
And in this case, this kid grew up reading Superman, and he basically becomes Superman. He's basically, he's just Superman.
They're very overt about the fact that he wanted to be Superman. So the gem knows that and made him Superman. He is Clark Kent and Superman. And what I was really surprised by was they just referenced comic book characters straight up. They take famous lines. They show panel upon panel of classic 80s John Byrne Superman, which I love because that's like the iconic modern Superman origin, or proto-modern anyway.
My favorite part of this whole episode, it's right near the beginning, because Moffat's at his best when he's just doing like funny little character things with the Doctor.
Yes, I agree.
The fucking moment when he like looks at the comic book and he's like, look at this panel, and look at this panel, and he's like, Clark Kent and Superman are one and the same.
Yeah, I loved that. And then he's like, I even drew spectacles on Superman. He's definitely Clark Kent.
And the kid's like, yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah, it was great. The Superman movie references abounded in this. You can tell fucking Moffat loves Christopher Reeve Superman, particularly to the first 2 movies, particularly the first movie. There are just straight up scenes lifted right from the first Superman movie. Pretty much the entire ending is lifted straight from the first Superman movie.
I like how in some episodes of Doctor Who, the Doctor seems to be like intimately familiar with pop culture, and then at other times he just doesn't know anything. There's
that really crazy moment in season 3 with Martha, when he takes her back to like Shakespeare times, and he's trying to explain something to her, and he's like, you ever seen Back to the Future? And she's like, the film? And he's like, no, the novelization. Yes, the film. And it's like, well, has the Doctor both seen Back to the Future? Like, he sat in the movie theater at one point and watched Back to the Future. And has he also, like, read the novelization of Back to the Future? Like, I mean...
Well, there's also a moment in that episode where he mentions Harry Potter and how he's already read the 7th book and that it was sad. And at the time, that was clever because obviously the 7th book hadn't come out.
Do you think he actually sits down and reads the book, though? Or do you think he does some weird, like, telepathic thing where he, like, fucking holds J.K. Rowling's head and just absorbs her fucking knowledge of the story, and he just emotionally knows what happened.
Who fucking knows? I think he can like read super fast, can't he? He's not like a Time Lord thing.
For sure. Like, I mean, dude, he can do anything. It's crazy. Like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, he's mad.
But it's fascinating to me that this guy like
pretty much
knows...
every episode is pretty much he walks around and then somebody threatens him and he basically just yells at them about how great he is and then they die. Like, that's pretty much how these things always go down.
I'm glad you brought up the Shakespeare episode specifically because that actually came to my mind when I was watching the episode. I was like, wait, this guy knows Harry Potter intimately, but he isn't aware that Superman is Clark Kent. Like,
I think he was kidding.
He seemed pretty serious.
Yeah, but the doctor's... Dude, what was River Song's main message to Amy Pond? The doctor lies.
You're my mom?
Yes, that's true. That is definitely something that River wanted Amy to be aware of at a certain point. But she
Mom.
But that was her big message, that the doctor knew that at a certain point and he didn't tell her, so she was like, the doctor lies. So
what was
that's
River
the lesson that I
name?
want you to know when you think about the fact that the doctor said that he didn't know Clark Kent was Superman.
What was River Song's main message to Amy Pond? Happy Mother's Day. Surprise. You're not even pregnant yet, but I'm your daughter.
Do you think they had to pay for all the Superman comics and all the references and everything, or do you think that they're just like, it's a British show, who gives a fuck?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Maybe they're like, well, people who don't read those comics will read them now. But it was very specific. Like, I imagine that Moffat picked the Byrne comics because that's probably something he read when he was younger. And that's like the proto-modern Superman origin. Have you ever read Man of Steel? John Byrne's Man of Steel?
I don't think so.
I've read bits of it. It's pretty good. I got to sit down and read it all at some point. It's pretty good stuff. Pretty like iconic pinnacle Superman storytelling.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Superman guy, so I've probably never read it. But
it's definitely worth reading for somebody who's like, I want to like get down to the core of what's good about Superman, and that's what it's about, and that's what I like about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you might like it on that front. Who knows? Anyway, this is not about Superman. Well, I guess it kind of is. It's about a guy who becomes Superman, and then the Doctor has to deal with it. So what did you think of the whole Lucy Lombard thing, and the fact that we have a Superman status quo in New York City? Seemingly just because this happened, just because this kid's got the gem in his chest, and he's just kind of going around hoping that things turn out into a superhero status quo. I mean, it's obviously not exactly the Superman status quo, because he's not mild-mannered reporter Clark Kent. He's mild-mannered nanny Grant, whatever the hell his name is, Grant something.
Yeah, I really liked the setup that they came up with. Like, he's her nanny or whatever, and like she's also his love interest, and like he goes out and saves the day, and then he has like a fucking baby monitor strapped to his wrist, so he knows when he needs to
I enjoyed that status quo. I thought that was a cool, unique, funny superhero status quo. That he goes out, he fucks people up, he saves people, and then as soon as he knows he's needed back at the baby side, he just swoops back in, literally faster than an actual nanny would, like somebody who wasn't superpowered. I think that's great.
Well, there was another one of those...
I thought that he was terrible as Grant, though. I thought that Justin Chadwick was really boring and kind of unlikable, and he seemed like a total psychopath as Grant. And I'm not just saying that because he's a male nanny. I have higher standards than that. But I do think that he was not a likable character when he didn't have the mask on. Because when he had the mask on, I liked the kind of fake Michael Keaton persona he put on to try and be a superhero. I thought that was fun and made sense in the context of the universe. And I get what they tried to do with the whole, when he's the nanny, he's just an invisible, like, the girl he loves and who the superhero loves, and who she loves the superhero and everything. And it's like a big tragic, dramatic love thing. You know, it's right in front of her eyes and everything, and she doesn't see it, even though she's like a super smart girl. I enjoyed all, like, the way that was kind of turned on its head. But I just didn't enjoy his performance of that. I didn't think that made sense. Maybe it did. Maybe the gem also kind of impacted his brain to be like, you're gonna act like a really dumpy fucking mild-mannered dude when you have these glasses on, because that's what you want. That's the goal here. You want to be Superman. So you have to be Clark Kent too.
I
And
there
then
was another one.
maybe the idea is that after the experience and revealing his identity to her, he can kind of just be both people at once. So when we see him rocking like the cool rock shirt at the end, he's like, I'm both dudes at once now. I'm Ghost Grant.
Yeah, maybe. But there was another one of those interview things during the commercial breaks. This time with Moffat himself. And he's basically talking about how his favorite moments in like superhero media are these moments when like the superheroes' identities come into conflict with each other. You know, like the superhero shit coming into conflict with like the mundanities of his normal life. And I feel like the whole nanny thing was a brilliant way for him to set up moments like that within like the short format of a Doctor Who episode, because like everybody's in that apartment together, so they were able to do all the like, oh, he's running off and doing the superhero thing and now he's got to rush back to
with the Doctor in the midst of that in a really funny way.
Yeah, by putting all the characters under one roof, by constructing this whole nanny thing, he's able to have these moments where the two personalities are sort of coming into conflict with each other. There's like the moment when he's in the kitchen talking to her on the phone, and then she comes into the kitchen to ask him if he can babysit the next night because she's got a date with him.
Yeah, I liked all of that. That was great. And how he's cocky enough to think like, oh, I can go on a date with your mother, with her, while I'm also babysitting the kid that she wants me to babysit. Like that's really morally ambiguous, kind of reprehensible. But he gets away with it. But he almost doesn't, because these people show up to fuck with him, and the kid's downstairs. And if the Doctor hadn't shown up and helped, then they would have gone downstairs and kidnapped the kid, and he would have been really fucked. But He made it just in time, because he's a little scoundrel. He's a little weasel. He's horrible. I hate him. Nah. I pretty much liked him overall, but I thought that his performance was really hit and miss. And again, I felt that way with all of the American actors. We kind of talked about the girl, but what did you think of her?
Maybe my standards were just lowered because I realized he was the guy from Dragon Ball Evolution, but I thought he was fine.
Maybe. Well, but everybody who's in Doctor Who, I expect them to kind of rise to the occasion. I didn't think he did. Or again, maybe I just didn't like the direction of the performance that he took for that character.
I think maybe it has something to do with the fact that, because, I have a little bit of this with other Doctor Who episodes that are set in America. I don't know that British writers know how to write Americans convincingly.
Maybe that could be it. I don't think so though. Maybe it's because they don't understand the material because they're American actors. Like that's something that's different with this that you don't always get when they set the show in America.
It could be a combination of both, because I also have a little bit of this with like even really good episodes that are set in America, like fucking Dalek. Like there are moments when like what's his name will say something and I'm like, I don't know if an American would say that. Like it's.
I don't know if those were American cast, but I'm even just saying that the American cast doesn't really know how to interpret the script in the same way as the British cast, and it creates a weird dynamic.
Yeah, possibly. I think it's probably a combination of both factors. British people trying to write American characters and Americans trying to interpret British sensibilities. It's probably a combination of the two.
For sure. All right, well, moving on then. Did the brain dudes in the midst of all this make for good villains? I'm going to say they were totally fine.
Yeah, they were all right. Their plot at the end where they were dropping the ship on the city was kind of convoluted.
That was a nod to the Avengers.
But they were pretty... It was also very similar to the fucking Voyage of the Damned Christmas special. But they were pretty...
Yeah.
They were pretty creepy villains. I thought they made for... good Doctor Who monsters. They had like that nice visual where they would unzip their heads. Kind of reminded me of the Slitheen a little bit.
The Slitheen, but I also feel like Moffat's always like, I'm gonna have weird, creepy insect-like shit opening out of heads. Like I feel like that was the last Christmas special, not the last one, but the last Christmas, that one.
Yeah,
I felt like that was kind of that too. And then even last year we had a head like the Doctor was carrying around a head. Moffat's got a weird obsession with heads. It's weird.
But they also kept them around. Like he didn't defeat all of them at the end. Like it's left open to where they could make return appearances, and I'd be all right with that because they're kind of like it's almost like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but like in the Doctor Who universe.
Yeah, none of them die that we see. Oh, no. One or two of them does, but the main one, the one that inhabits the body of the corporate CEO, he doesn't die.
Well, we know that they have these labs set up like in capital cities around the world, so there's got to still be a ton of these guys just running around with alien brains in their heads.
Yeah.
plotting and shit.
Well, it seems like UNIT knows who they are, and they're going to capture them. So it seems like they're all kind of outed.
Assuming that they have a complete list or whatever.
I think that they said that they did. Did Kate die in season 9? Kate Stewart?
Shit, I don't remember.
Me neither.
Was season 9 the Zygon stuff, or was that season 8?
That was season 9, yeah. Well, I mean, it was the 50th anniversary, and then they brought it up again in season 9. Where they did the ISIS commentary with the Zygons.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was season 9.
Yeah.
I don't think she died.
Why didn't we see her then? I thought that was weird. They mentioned Osgood, which there's 2 of her, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't remember for sure, but I don't think maybe she did, actually. I don't remember.
I thought that the brain dudes were real dumb, though. I got that was kind of the point of the end. The doctor was like, "You're gonna lose, you're idiots, fuck off," and then that's exactly what happens, and they lose in a really dumb way.
Yeah.
But at one point when they're going to kill somebody, when they have a knife, they could just stab them. They go out of their way to unzip their head and pull the gun out. Like, just use the knife. What do you need to pull a gun out of your head for? Because it looks cooler? Well, you know what? You don't need to look cool all the time. Spoiled brat.
Why does that black guy feel the need to keep his gun in his head?
Yeah, that's so inconvenient. Like, just put it in your pocket, you fuck. Like, Jesus. Like, why do you... Well, I mean, the idea is that it's not the black guy, the corporate CEO. It's the alien. I guess that he feels more comfortable with his gun in his head.
Yeah, but why? Like, just put it in your jacket.
Dylan, he's a weird alien brain man. What do you want from me?
They call it being strapped for a reason, damn it. Like, it's so much easier.
Now it's just encased.
But yeah, that was weird. That just seemed like a contrivance for them to show off the effect more often.
I thought that the villain plot was going to end up being connected to the superhero, though. I thought the superhero would end up being evil in some way, or even just misguided into doing evil stuff. But that ended up not being the case.
Watching the episode, I was under the impression that the gemstone he swallowed was actually causing all this stuff to happen because he wanted to be a superhero, and therefore he would need some sort of villain to fight.
Yeah.
So early on in the episode, I was thinking this is going to be a thing where like the gemstone is actually causing bad shit to happen on purpose, so that he'll have something to save people from. But it wound up not being that. This is just one of.
I think Moffat wanted to subvert people's expectations with that, where he was like, I know that's what everybody's expecting. I'm not going to do that because maybe it's kind of cooler to just have a random alien plot happen when this superhero's around. Maybe that's kind of cooler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, what was I about to say?
It makes it really convenient that the Doctor and his reporter lady friend happen upon an alien happening at the same time, and then he knows about it and goes and saves them, and that's how he makes his big introduction.
There are certain episodes of Doctor Who, like, for example, the one from season 5 where he moves into that apartment with that guy, where the alien plot is really only there because you need an alien plot.
Yeah.
A more recent example is the one where he's a teacher or the janitor at the school. There's like that weird robot thing.
Yeah, that definitely the caretaker. That totally felt like that.
But there are episodes where like it feels like they want to focus more on the character shit that's going on, but they still have to put in an alien plot because you always need one for Doctor Who. So there are certain episodes where the alien plot takes like a secondary seat. I almost feel a little bit about that way with the season 2 episode where Sarah Jane came back. Like the main point of that episode is Sarah Jane coming back. I really
like that villain plot though with the giant bat people. I thought that was really good.
That one they actually managed to balance both pretty well, I thought. But it's still.
I love the villain in that. Where he's like, Doctor, you act like such a fucking rebel, but you're always trying to maintain everything. Like I thought that was great.
Yeah, but the main point of that episode is this whole thing with Sarah Jane coming back and meeting Rose. Meanwhile, with the giant bat people. But the good thing about that episode is that the fact that there were giant bat people actually served as a way to bring Sarah Jane and the Doctor back together because they were both investigating it. So that's definitely like one of the better examples of this idea. But it's just like there are some Doctor Who episodes that are constructed around the villain plot, and then there are other episodes where it's like, hey, this really interesting character stuff's going on, and also, by the way, here's a villain plot.
Yeah, there are a million different kinds of Doctor Who episodes, and this is the Christmas special, but this is also a different kind of attempt here, a different stab at a superhero story. Do you wish that the villain plot was more superhero, supervillain oriented? Because, I mean, I guess you can kind of say that it's a bit like a Lex Luthor kind of scheme, like with a corporation and everything that's trying to say that they're out for everybody's greater good when really they're just trying to fuck everybody over. And they're trying to manipulate world leaders into their hands and everything, into their corporate pockets. So I guess you can kind of say it's a superhero, supervillain story in that capacity. But maybe you actually have him fight somebody, right?
Yeah. When it started, I thought it was going to be more of a like a Lex Luthor type thing. Like the minute that black dude showed up on the screen, I thought, oh, it's going to be Black Luthor.
That's what I thought too.
It's going to be TAS Luthor.
Because again, everything else was so close to Superman that I thought that we would even have like a Superman plot. And we kind of did. It definitely struck me as like they would have done that in an 80s Superman movie, like that plot. Because it doesn't require a lot of Superman punching stuff. Again, I think the Ghost only throws like one punch in this. Oh, what'd you think of the Ghost outfit, by the way? I thought it was really kind of... It was okay in some instances, and in other instances it looked like a dumb throwaway Power Rangers outfit.
Again, it struck me like they were trying to blend Superman with Batman.
What'd you think of the mask?
I think it was a little too big, I thought. Like, it took up too much of the face.
Yeah, it didn't fit him right. It looked like something out of BioShock, like that a splicer would be wearing, like when you shoot one, and then you look at the dead body, and it's like hanging off with blood all over it. Like that's what that reminded me of.
Okay, I'm nodding. All right.
Good. That's your role.
But,
At the end of the day, though, it was kind of just a basic Doctor Who alien invasion. Maybe they should have done something different. Maybe they shouldn't have. What they did was perfectly enjoyable, though, I thought.
Yeah.
Dylan, let's talk about Nardole as a companion and the current status quo. I'm so glad he's sticking around. I didn't watch the Season 10 trailer prior to seeing this. I didn't know that he was sticking around. That's great. I thought that maybe he was going to die in this. Thank God he didn't. He got damn close, though, when he was on that ship, when he and the Doctor found that ship that the aliens were going to use to crash into New York. And he gets strangled by the security bot. And then the ship's going to explode, and the Doctor's trying to run, and he can't really get to him. I was like, oh man, they're going to kill him, and we're never going to see him again, even though he was technically kind of already dead. Or he was at least in the stomach of a robot or something. And the Doctor put him back together again because he wanted a friend after River died. And I was like, oh, that's great. And I really loved him in the last Christmas special. And I think that he's a really good counterbalance to the Doctor. Because he's a totally normal, good-natured dude compared to the Doctor, and it's always awesome to have something like that. And it's very different from the sassy women that we're very used to in Doctor Who. And we're getting that again, it looks like, next season. So I'm glad that even though we're getting that kind of samey element, that we have the new, sassy, good-natured dude in there as well. And again, I'm glad we're getting a bunch of different people in the TARDIS. But what did you think of it?
Yeah, I like when we get to have more than one companion in the TARDIS. That was something I enjoyed about Amy and Rory both being in the TARDIS at once. I don't know, I just like that. I think it gets a little old having just the two people in TARDIS all the time. I think you reach a point where the Doctor having only one companion, they tend to get a little bit too obsessed with each other. I think it's better when you have like a group of people.
Because I also get sick of introducing a million different new characters every episode that we have to get used to so they can all die and we can feel bad about it. But when you have an ensemble already, you don't have to do that so much. So I'd like there to be an ensemble. Like, dude, we could get 4 or 5 people in there. Wouldn't you be okay with that? 4 or 5 people in the TARDIS?
I'd be fine with that. Yeah, we haven't really seen anything like that in New Who. Even though it happened occasionally in Old Who.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be forever. Just for a season. Just get 5 people in there. Just have them doing heists and shit.
Let's have an alien.
What if the Doctor's I want to get a group of people together who are good at what they do to keep the universe and time safe, and I'm gonna mentor them because I have the knowledge and I have the experience, and we're gonna do good, cool shit together and see what that's like for a while. I think that would be cool.
I'm tired of all the companions being human. Give me a.
Yeah, give us some
else.
aliens. Maybe another Time Lord. They're back now, so maybe a new Time Lord.
Give me a Silurian.
maybe even get the mistress in there, the master. Maybe she's fuck it, I don't want to be evil anymore. And he's like, all right, we'll see what happens.
Doctor, I'm not evil anymore. Let's fuck, and they fuck. I don't know.
Maybe they have a kid together. So what if the Doctor and the Master fuck, and they have a kid, and then the Master dies again and turns into a man? Does the child call the Master dad or mom?
I don't know. Ask Kylie Jenner.
Now, what if then the Doctor dies and turns into a woman? Does the son call the Doctor dad or mom?
Same question. I don't know.
I'm asking the heavy hitters, D. What'd you think of
The real
Nardole?
question is, hypothetically, the Doctor changes and becomes a woman, but does he identify as a woman?
I don't know, man. The mistress does. I mean, that's why she changed her name.
True.
He got obsessed with it. Like, he turned it into a woman, and he was like, this is it. This is the best thing ever, man. It almost seems like Stephen Moffat maybe wants to turn into a woman himself, because every time we see a Time Lord do it, they're always like, oh my god, this is so much better. Like, we see that Time Lord General from the 50th anniversary in Season 9 turn into a woman when he dies, and then she's like, oh man, I got so used to all that ego over the years. It's so relieving to not have to worry about that anymore now that I'm a woman. And I'm like, Stephen Moffat, just go through the operation, dude. Like, clearly that's what you want. Like, just do it. Anyway.
It'd be interesting.
Maybe it's out of line for me to say that.
It'd be interesting if we got to see a Time Lord regenerate and wind up switching genders and then being pissed about it.
Hmm.
Haven't had that happen.
We'll see it. Well, maybe with the Doctor, because when he turned into Matt Smith and he found out that he had long hair and he thought maybe he was a girl, he freaked out, so he was relieved when he was a man. So at the very least, at one time, he was concerned about that.
Yeah, maybe we can. Maybe eventually we do have a female Doctor at some point, and then that becomes like her conflict for the season. She's pissed because she doesn't have a dick anymore. She has to sit down to pee. Nobody wants that.
You don't prefer sitting down to pee?
It's a pain in the ass. Her vagina's bigger on the inside, you know?
Oh, well, that's fair. There's a lot of piss in there, so it takes a while. What'd you think of Nardole, though, as a companion? You liked him? Dylan's eating pie. He got inspired by my candy.
It's pretty funny. I agree with everything you said about him.
I think I thought he and the Doctor bounced off well together. I think the Doctor was on point in this. It's good to see the Doctor and Capaldi nice, like not so mean anymore. Like he's not really playing that up that much anymore. Like we were kind of past that.
Yeah. He was grumpy Doctor for a season, and then he lightened up a little bit in season 9.
I think that was good. It was nice for a while, and now they moved on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was fun for a bit. Now we're back to like he's good with kids again, and he's just chilling, and he's having a good time. He's sad, but he's not mean, and I think that's good. That's a good distinction.
Well, every Doctor I think matures over the point over their tenure. Like you go back to season 5, Matt Smith is not the same as season 7, Matt Smith.
No. I think they all kind of start off pissed off and angry and kind of more crazy, and then they all end their career as pissed off and angry is kind of more crazy.
Well, whereas Capaldi went from grumpy to not grumpy, Matt Smith went from really weird to less weird.
To like kind of like, oh, maybe I was a little too weird. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like
he was really spastic in the beginning.
A little bit. Remember when he had ketchup and mustard coming out of the TARDIS? Like, what was the deal with that? Like, what would you need that for? Although the TARDIS did rebuild itself, so actually the TARDIS thought that it needed ketchup and mustard on the console. So who knows what it thought that was necessary for? Dylan, did you think it was Christmassy enough? This special?
I guess that is one criticism I could levy at it if I gave a fuck. I don't really, but
me neither. Yeah, because I thought it was fine that it was at the beginning. They had a nice little Doctor Santa Claus moment, which was nice given what happened in Last Christmas. The Doctor is kind of Santa Claus in the Doctor Who universe. That's always been implied in a Stephen Moffat season 1 episode. The Doctor dances. Rose says that the Doctor is Father Christmas, and he goes, "Maybe I am, maybe I'm not." And she goes, "Well, tell me what I wanted for my birthday." And he does. He's like, "A bicycle." And she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "I don't know." So maybe the Doctor is maybe the Doctor is Santa Claus in the Doctor Who universe. So that was kind of fun. But then it's just kind of a normal then it's just kind of a normal Doctor Who episode with a superhero in it. Did you think that, like, the idea was, well, it's superheroes, it's Christmas, they kind of go hand in hand, so we'll start off with Christmas and then we'll dovetail it into superhero? Did you think that was supposed to be like a transition thing?
I don't know. It didn't bother me at all.
I'm getting a lot of answers out of you tonight. You're just like, I don't know, man. I don't know anything. What do you know, D? What do you know?
Who cares? I didn't go into this special thinking, oh boy, it's a Doctor Who Christmas special. I went into the special thinking, oh boy, it's the first Doctor Who I've had in a year.
Yeah,
so they could have done anything, and I would have been like, all right.
It's fair. All right. I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna say that I thought they had just enough, and it was fine, and that it didn't need to beat you over the head with Christmas. Christmas.
Honestly, if they had tried to shoehorn Christmas into the plot more, it would have been contrived and stupid.
I agree. Are you excited for season 10?
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
thought
a lot more so than I was. I'm actually looking forward to it now. I'm gonna watch it and probably enjoy it a lot. I wasn't prior to this, but you know what, man? I'm excited for new Doctor Who. I'm excited to get to come home and do my mysterious recreational activities and watch it. It's gonna be great.
the quality of this episode, made me think, all right, they still know what they're doing, even though it's been a year.
It was fun. It was well paced, and I was never bored. So, Doctor Who does still work for sure, even for a cynical fuck like me, and for a cynical fuck like you.
We had the season 10 trailer at the end that I think sort of sold me even more. I didn't know how much I missed those fucking Daleks until I saw one. I was like, there you are. Come here.
Really glad they're giving him something different to do by having him be a professor. I think that's a good role for Capaldi to take. That seems interesting. And that it seems like he's doing a class at a college, and he finds a student there and he takes her on. That sounds fun. Sounds fun to me. I'm not sold on her as a companion yet, though. Because, again, it's another sassy woman.
I haven't seen enough about to sell me or not sell me. So
yeah,
that's really good, babe. When the first episode airs, presumably in April, that's what Wikipedia told me. Then we can get to see what we think of her, and that might make or break the next season. That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about is, like, what if we hate the new companion?
Oh, yeah, that would suck. Because she'll probably be with us until the new Doctor.
Because I've never outright hated a companion. Like, I got sick of Clara over time, but I never, like...
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I've never outright hated a companion. I got sick of Rose. I never got sick of Amy.
I did hate Clara a little bit in, like, that last episode.
But
no,
I got sick of Clara, like, quick. Like, by season 8, I was kind of like, fuck her, fuck this chick and her dumb boyfriend. They got rid of the boyfriend, and I was like, all right, this is a little better now. And then I got sick of her on her own, so... Yeah. I didn't really get a sense of what the story's going to be in season 10, if it'll even have an overarching story. Again, aside from the professor shit, we don't really know what the Doctor's going to be trying to accomplish, or if there's going to be any new Gallifrey shit, or what the Daleks are up to, or if there's kind of any overarching crisis. We'll see what happens. But I'm definitely excited to get some new adventures. I agree with you. It looks fun. It looks adventurous. It looks like we're going to see some new shit, so that's all you can really ask for in this. But I definitely left this more excited for Doctor Who than when I entered it, so I guess that's all you can ask for, man.
I hope we get some more Missy in the next season. I think we will.
Yeah, I think that she'll be she'll make a seasonal appearance now, like the Daleks do, like the Cybermen do.
Now that the Master is like a thing that exists full time in the universe instead of like a thing that we bring back every now and then.
Well, now that the Time Lords are back, I think it's a bigger deal of like we're gonna just bring more Time Lords in regularly.
Yeah. Yep. Fucking Rassilon. He got kicked off of Gallifrey. Now he's out there. He could do some shit. It'd be cool.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that Rassilon was in fucking Hellbent.
Yeah. That actually has some potential. Like, what does a guy like Rassilon do when he gets exiled? I imagine he goes off to some other planet and conquers it. So.
Yeah, we're going to have to catch up with him at some point doing something fucked up. Now, he regenerated, right? Was that the idea because he wasn't Timothy Dalton when we saw him again?
Yeah, he was the old guy from the second season of Being Human. And I know you haven't seen Being Human, but I enjoy dropping references to things that other people don't understand.
Yeah, we do it a lot against each other. It's very awkward sometimes.
Anyway, if they do bring him back again, though, that he should probably regenerate into somebody a little younger.
Yeah, probably. But did they explain that? Why he regenerated from Timothy Dalton? Like, did they say, like, what happened?
There's no telling. Anything could happen. Shit.
He could have stumbled down some stairs. Maybe he had a bad taco. Who knows, man?
Maybe it had something to do with his battle with the Master. We still don't even know how the Master escaped from the time thingy.
He was, well, I mean, the same way all the Time Lords did, because the Doctor saved everybody who was on Gallifrey, and when the Master...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Master was on Gallifrey when it blew up or whatever, or when he thought he blew up, and really he just locked it away or whatever the fuck happened.
And I guess he traveled back in time and at some point became Missy and started fucking with shit.
Yeah, when he got on Gallifrey, he presumably stole a TARDIS and went off and fucked around, is apparently what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, alright, D, I think that's going to do it. So, next time, we're going to be doing the Genndy Tartakovsky, is that how you say his name? Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Woo! Success in life achieved. The Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars: The Clone Wars animated series. Is that what it's called, or is it just Star Wars Clone Wars? What is it called?
Yeah, it's just Clone Wars. There's no they. It's the 2003 show.
Right.
That's what a lot of people call it.
There's 2 seasons of it. We're going to do one video and talk about all of it because it's essentially 2 hours, so it's kind of like one movie.
Pretty much.
So we're going to talk about all of it. Should be fun. That'll be a whole episode. And then after that, I believe the idea is we're going to do a science episode again.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're going to do a Would Be Interesting If, and we'll announce that as it gets closer. But it's very connected to the deep-rooted beginnings of this show, so I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. But that's our outlook for the coming future of the Demons from Outer Space. And I figure I'll announce this now since this is close to when this was going to happen. I was going to do my annual Q&A live show this week. Didn't really have the time to set that up, so that's not going to happen this week. I'm going to do that next week.
I was supposed to be there, and I forgot all about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I kind of forgot about it, and stuff I did this week just made it not really realistic. So I've been busy. I've been fucking cleaning my house, and that's taken up like 3 days. So we're gonna do that next week, and I've got a couple of other videos planned to put up this weekend, including this podcast. So should be fine. We're gonna do a Godzilla Odyssey video soon, though, so that'll go up as well. So look out for any questions 6 or 7 or whichever number it is next week. As I've been sort of alluding to a little bit in this video, we're going to be bringing back the Godzilla gang in some capacity soon. Dylan, maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about that after we get off this recording. And many other stuff is planned for the future. So like us on Facebook to follow all of it as it comes up naturally for the SOS Network homepage and the Godzilla Odyssey page. Follow me on Twitter at Bill Worster. Same thing for Facebook. You can subscribe to D in the description below. It's SuperDM64 and a whole bunch of other shit. Go off and do it, kids. Have a good time. Till next time, I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
I'm SuperDM64.
And you see nothing, Colonel Hogan, because it's a podcast. It's a podcast, Colonel Hogan. Oh, them Germans, they be fucked up.